Hello, everyone, and I'm Christina Giordano, the founder of Sold, your go to resource for soulful entrepreneurship. And my philosophy is this: people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. This is selling with soul. This is marketing with integrity, where you no longer need to compromise your authenticity, your boundaries, your uniqueness, your wholeness. This is messaging in a way that actually reflects the true transformation you provide because it's your story, your transformation, and nobody can compete with that. This is manifesting in a way that honors your fullness, all of the pieces and parts of you that are meant to be divinely resourced. Join me every Wednesday to learn all of this and more. Let's jump right in. Today's episode is all about what is launching, and that is the money methods in the membership. So in this week's episode of Sold, I want to give a brief overview of the money methods and why they are so important to learning how to manifest with nothing but the essence that is you. Now, if you've been around here for a while, you know that this is something that I teach within marketing with nothing but the essence that is you. And that is because my three main methods, the life method, the soul method, and the love method, were essentially channeled as a way for people to use them as a roadmap to self-discovery. Because if we're going to be marketing ourselves with the essence that is us, we're going to need to do some self-discovery. And so the methods essentially, if you're radically honest while you're doing them, they help you figure that out. They help you speak the language of your ideal client because the way that you are aligned to your work is directly related to how your audience is aligned to your work. They help you connect the dots from where you were to where you are now because, believe it or not, your transformation, the thing that you have achieved for yourself, is more often than not the exact same thing that you help another person achieve. And then finally, they help you build the foundation of your business. So they utilize within the love method, they utilize the needle moving principles that you need in order to have a solid business foundation. And these methods, they were channeled back in 2020. And I mentioned this in a previous episode. The money methods were channeled in 2022. And they were kind of, if you listen to the intro episode that I did last week, they were kind of the natural next step of the marketing methods. And they were channeled through me because, of course, like with the marketing methods, I had to completely live them out, so to say. And I did. I fully lived out the money methods, and now I am launching them in something called the membership, where you will essentially get access to the money methods, and it will be in an ebook format, but the course itself, and it does take place in a kind of digital course environment, where you will be able to go chapter by chapter and read through the money methods. And then there's also the feature, depending on which tier you choose, there's a feature of monthly support calls, group coaching calls, or weekly support calls, which I think balances out to like 4 times a month. And so there's tier 1 pricing, which includes the monthly calls, and then tier 2 includes the weekly calls up to 4 times a month. And essentially, those are the two kind of add-ons that you get to the money methods. And I'm going to explain in greater detail in just a moment why the support feature is so incredibly essential to this process. Now, our first call is on June 3rd at 11 a.m. Central Time. Now, depending on when you watch this video, I hope you're going to be able to make it. If you select the tier 1 pricing, if not, and you're doing tier 2, then get ready because you're going to see me 4 times a month in that tier. And if any of this is singing to you, and what I will be explaining in just a moment is if it's singing to you, head to the Get Guidance page of my website to learn more. We are launching this weekend. So Sunday, June 1st is the launch of the membership, and the entire money methods will be in the membership along with a resource area. Now, this membership does not include a community feature because this work is very independent. I want you to be hyper-focused on integrating what you're learning and really taking a hyper-focused perspective yourself to really embody what you're learning. This membership doesn't necessarily, the objective of it isn't to develop community. However, if this is something down the line that we or I decide that could be beneficial to the experience, we will absolutely add it. But for now, there is no community within the membership. It is essentially hyper-focused on you and your journey and your self-discovery. Any community feature that is within there takes place during the group calls. So whether you sign up for tier 1 with the monthly call or tier 2 with the weekly calls, that is kind of your touch of a community feature. And but it's led by me. It's facilitated by me, where I help you digest and integrate and really learn and unlearn to quite a degree the money methods and what they're able to help you achieve as you learn how to manifest in this new way. Okay, so for the rest of this video, or if you're watching this, and if you're not watching this and you're listening to this on a podcast, I'm going to remove myself from the video, and I'm going to be reading to you a couple snippets from the first few chapters of the Money Methods. Now, if you decide to move forward with purchasing the Money Methods and doing the membership, you would essentially do this at a rate of which you're able to consume the material. And so one of the recommendations that I'm going to be providing to people who move forward with this work is that they read the first 5 chapters at once. And the first 5 chapters include the intro and, the why behind everything. There's a welcome in there. There's information about that sacred vessel piece, which I'm going to be sharing today. And then it's the methods themselves, so the debit method and the credit method. And those are the 2 main methods that are within the money methods. And then from there, there's 5 practical applications that are included, and I'm going to go through that in just a moment. And then 5 belief shifting objectives that are included to further integrate into your consciousness. And so what we're doing is we're taking a practical approach to an energetic concept, which is manifesting. And we're doing it in a way, of course, that reflects the essence that is you. So we're kind of, I'll go into more detail as it relates to the vessel that is you, but we're unlearning a lot and learning a lot. So we're kind of shedding a lot and we're filling ourselves up a lot. So that's essentially kind of how the money methods work and how you should digest them. So once you read the first 5 chapters, you would go week by week is what I recommend. Like, read one practical application, use the week to integrate, read another practical application, use it to integrate. Go in order, because the order is relatively significant. It's not essential, but it is recommended, because the way that it is in order is how I lived it. And so, I don't know, in my brain, I'm thinking, well, the best roadmap is kind of the one that goes light post to light post based on what you've experienced. However, because of the nature of this work, because it's highly independent and personalized, your experience is naturally going to be vastly different than mine. So that's a little bit about the methods. I hope you enjoy the episode today. I'm going to pause the video right here if you're catching this on YouTube. However, you're going to continue with the audio recording. It's just that I'm going to be reading from the money methods and from snippets of it rather than being face to camera teaching it. All right, so tune in and I hope you enjoy. All right, so we are back, and this is the part where I'm reading snippets from the money methods, and I hope you enjoy. What you learn about yourself in the money methods will transfer into every other area of your life. It will be an entire energetic shift of your very being. And this is because we are returning to the essence that is you. We're not walking out of one matrix, which is our current reality, and walking straight into another, as you can see with the other manifestation matrices available out there. We are working with your essence. That's it. Because that's really all you need. That's all you've ever needed. When I was having financial issues, my energy was also having issues. The way that I was using it, dispensing it, working it, doing it, the whole thing. I was full of despair and self-doubt. I doubted everything, the way I was operating in my business, whether or not I could make an impact, and my ability to really accomplish things. As I worked within myself, my sacred vessel, and established trust with myself, security in my boundaries, and belief in my voice and my truth, I started to believe something different. I started to believe in myself. And I started to actually kind of really love myself in a way that I had never understood love before. And it was because I was finally so contained within myself that I was able to truly pour into myself. So, interestingly, we're going to heal your wounds around manifesting money and love by first healing the sacred vessel that is you. Now, I want you to look at it this way. Imagine yourself as a sacred vessel, and when you are at your fullest, you are overflowing with water. You are both the container and the water, just as you are a body in a flow of energy. You long to be at your fullest and overflowing. This is your most natural state of being. Because you cannot give anything when you aren't overflowing. Giving from overflow is the most natural way to give. It's the only way that water can truly flow. It can't force itself out of its vessel unless it's forced by an external factor or unless it's leaking. Now, more often than not, because life is simply life, your vessel has developed some cracks. Everything in your life, from the mundane to the monumental, has had an effect on you. There are things that are causing you to drain. Now, imagine that as a vessel, you long to be full of potential, full of what you desire, full of life. We need to patch up those leaks. And then we need to fill you up to the point of overflow. That is what the money methods helps you achieve. Because your outer world reflects your inner world, you have to feel overflow within yourself in order to feel overflow outside of yourself. From there, you can expand that overflow to receive more and more. Let's talk about why love is the way forward when it comes to understanding the energetics of money. I have heard of wealth embodiment or identity work. I have heard of nervous system work. I have heard of receivership work. And I have also heard of subconscious reprogramming. The work of manifesting has been labeled in a variety of ways, but the gist of it comes down to the way in which we manage our energy. Therefore, money management has a lot to do with energy management. In my opinion, any money problem is an energy problem. And since love is the highest form of energy, it has a role here in that it gives us something tangible to feel into and strive towards. Because the new paradigm of making money quite literally means creating money, not earning it or working for it. Let's talk about the energy management piece first. Energy is a frequency. It welcomes life. It is life force. It's movement. It's food. It's love. It's money. It's health. It's your dreams. It's everything and everywhere. And the higher the frequency, the more enjoyable the energy. Quantum physics tells us that before matter, there is energy. The frequency of energy determines what type of matter we experience. If love is the highest frequency of energy, that is the frequency you want to embody. This is so that you can experience the level of matter that comes from that level of frequency. Now let's go back to the current methods for learning how to manifest more. In order to embody a wealth identity, we have to think pretty highly of ourselves, which requires a greater capacity for self-love. In order to be capable of maintaining a calm nervous system with and without money, we have to be able to connect to ourselves on a fairly deep and secure level, which requires a greater capacity for self-love. In order to allow ourselves to receive, we have to already know that we are deserving and worthy. We have to rewire the way we think about earning, which requires a greater capacity for self-love. In order to tap into our subconscious and reevaluate our patterns and programming, we need to trust ourselves and be able to dig deep within, which requires, you know it, a greater capacity for self-love. In other words, these pathways for building wealth are all related. We are just labeling it different things. It all comes down to our capacity for loving ourselves, our work, and our lives with the way we love leading the way. Now, I will say it again, money is not love and love is not money. But as with everything in life, it all comes down to this. What is the way in which you move with love? Because that is your essence. And if you're conscious of the way you move with love, how devoted can you be to managing your energy, to honoring yourself, to truly loving yourself? Because I'm guessing how you are in love is how you are with money. It's a relationship after all, and all relationships to varying degrees include the element of love. And as with all of my methods, the methods themselves do not do the work for you. They are acronyms within their own theme and allow you to dissect for yourself the relevance and relatability within your own life. Therefore, this work requires radical self-honesty as it's a journey of self-discovery. Only you can expand your nervous system. Only you can embody wealth. Only you can work on your capacity to receive. Only you can reprogram your subconscious. Nobody can do this work for you. It's all under your control. And nobody can put a timeline on how you do this. We are all at different set points, starting places, and within various environments that either increase or decrease our ability and availability to do this type of work. But doing the work and witnessing yourself in the end result is possible. And it's worth a shot because you're worth it. Now, here's a brief summary of the methods within the money methods. So first we have the debit method, DEBIT. Debit is Latin for what is due or a debt. Debt is Latin for duty or obligation. Eek! This is the method that we will use to stop the leaking and also begin to clean out and heal your vessel. Second is the credit method. Credit is Latin for to believe. This is the method that will help us pour into ourselves. The foundation of unconditional love is that you believe in your inherent value. Okay, here is where you begin to create and cultivate that overflow of that loving feeling. The final method is the rose method. This is the method that will help us expand our overflow. One of the most toxic elements of the current manifestation matrix is that what we're trying to do is learn how to hold more money. We're not receiving money into our vessel. We're not stretching our container to fit more money. This would create a dependence on needing more external money in order to be overflowing. This is not how it works. The container doesn't grow, but the overflow can. This is where you're learning how to hold more in your field, in the pool of overflow. We also look at 5 practical applications as they relate to love language, life force energy, love attachment, letting go, and love and divine sacred union. There are also 5 belief shifting objectives to help make this content land within your consciousness. These objectives include both energetic concepts and practical suggestions. Now, the reason why the money methods are delivered in a membership format is because this process, and more specifically, the duration of this process, is different for everyone. There is no predetermined timeline for anyone. It all depends on the rate of which you can work with yourself to patch up the leaks and then subsequently fill yourself up and expand. And because we're doing the deep inner work, support is more often than not needed. Members can choose between a monthly group coaching call or a 4 times a month group coaching call. Both tiers get full access to the money methods. Call recordings are also included as part of the resource library for both tiers. If you'd like more information on this experience, head to the Get Guidance page of my website. As I mentioned earlier, enrollment opens June 1st. However, you can join whenever you'd like. But if you'd like to be part of that first round, that first group, that first wave, definitely head to the link in my bios to learn more and enroll. I hope to see you there.